Hi, everybody. Oh my God. It's
Hello.
so humid outside. I just looked at myself for the first.
Are you in Tennessee now, Rachel?
Yeah, in
Oh,
Knoxville.
cool. Hi, Josh.
Hello.
Welcome. Good to see you. We got Heather here, Jody. Excited to see you guys well, some of you in St. Pete. We just picked the next dates too. It's going to be Knoxville in September. So we'll make sure to put those out so we can plan ahead.
Oh, that's awesome. Then I have a friend that lives in Nashville, so I could make it a trip to Tennessee.
Perfect. It's a write-off.
When is it? September what?
It is, I can tell you right now, but I'll put it in the
Oh, okay, no problem.
in the group, but I can tell you.
Okay.
You can mark it down. It is June, July, September. It's gonna be oh, that's August. Hold on. September 14th, 15th, and 16th.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah, definitely. Come on in, everybody. We got a small group today, I think. People are trickling in. I feel like this is the time of year where everyone's either on spring break or planning to launch into relaxing summertime. Josh, remember that life that you used to have where you were regulated by spring break and summer vacation and school?
Yeah, it's got its pros and cons. I was thinking like May, mid-May when everybody's finishing up finals, and I could be off for the next 3 months. That would be kind of cool.
Kevin says he's locked out. Hold on, we are on now. Everybody else is here except the chief. Let me send him the link. There we go. Hi, did you get locked out?
Nutty. No, every Zoom call requires me to come in through a different door. And this one I have to come in through the calendar. So I was trying to join a different meeting that doesn't exist.
How exciting.
But yeah, that was fun. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. What's up, Josh? Dina,
Hi. Hi, Kevin.
Tarek, good to see you. Heather, Jody's here. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Happy Tuesday. And we got a couple of hot seats today, but not too many. So maybe we can get some extra check-ins. It's always nice to just connect with you guys and hear what's on your mind, even if it seems sometimes like there's not a big issue. We can make some progress together.
Josh says he wants to jump in for a check-in.
Okay, great.
Yep.
I know Tim is on the list, but I don't see him yet. We'll give everybody a second to get here.
Yeah, it's spring break week, one of them. So
yeah,
it could be a product of the spring break.
Also the time change this weekend too.
Oh, that's always possible too. Yeah.
Oh man, it threw me for a loop. I feel like the second day was worse than the first because I've been getting up at 6:30 lately, which is fine. But then when we lost that hour, I was like, oh man, that hurts.
Makes a difference. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. I never think it will, but then it does. And I'm like, why am I so tired today?
Yeah. And poor Ariana from our team, she's in the Philippines and she's like, oh, wait, you guys still do that? No, we're one of the only countries that does it regularly.
We're like, we don't know why, but apparently, yes, we do. So,
and the standard measuring system.
Yeah.
We'll die by those too.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. We make our own rules. Well, let's start. Well, first of all, I want to mention we've got our first get together next week right here in town. So we're really excited about that. I know Jody's coming, and I think that's the only person on the call. Dina,
Oric will be there.
That'll be in London.
No, he's coming to both.
You are?
Yeah, I'm coming to St. Pete as well.
Oh my God, that's so great! Wow.
Yeah, so be a bit
Fantastic.
of a change from the weather here at the moment, but
All right.
I'll be
That'll
there,
be
Tim.
great, man. Well, cool. Thanks for making the trip. We'll have a blast. And we're already looking at the dates of the next one. I think we're probably this short of announcing it. Rachel, right? Just to make sure we have our ducks in a row, but it'll be mid-September. So I think we can tentatively probably say like 14, 15 in there somewhere. If you can,
Yep.
I know it's hard to, but if you can kind of block that week, that's most likely when it'll happen. It'll just be really fun and casual, but we'll still get a lot done. So, it's a nice balance between really feeling like you came here and got some stuff accomplished, but we're not just going to hammer you with information. It's really a chance for us to just do what we do here, but over 2 days together and, having some good food and having some big laughs and just being in a room together and having group think on some issues. And rather than more like anybody can get a hot seat if they want to address something specifically, but we think of it more as like topics, more like town hall meeting style kind of, and cover topics that we know are important to everybody. And so we'll send lots of photos and spread lots of FOMO after this one, and hope to keep doing these even more than just twice a year. So that's all very cool. The other thing I want to mention is that we're coming up on Q2, and so please make sure to go back to your assessment and fill it out again. Just again, as a check-in, that's how we engineered it to be a quarterly check-in. So you can, and I think just by answering the questions, you'll get a gauge of any progress you've made or anywhere you're still hung up from last quarter. And then of course you'll have a one-on-one call with your coach to just kind of, again, check in. And, this group, as you guys know, is all about you coming here to make sure you get what you need. And we want to do everything we can in our power to make it easy for you to just sort of show up, click some buttons, say some words, and get us in conversation, because that's all it takes to make a lot of headway. Anything else, Rachel, I need to mention before we dive in?
So I think we're 2 weeks out still, but if anyone wants to host the next co-working call, Joanne did an amazing job last time. So if anyone's planning to be on there and will be willing to show up and start the meeting and set a timer, that's all you really need to do. Is just, this is for you guys and for you guys to show up and block out an hour to work on your business. So is anyone planning on being on that April 7th call on Thursday, April 7th? I know we got a small group here, so I can post it in the group too.
Yeah, we'll get.
Okay,
get
cool.
somebody. But
We'll
if you know
mention
you're
it
going to
next
be
one.
there, yeah. Again, we'll just give you the login and you can start it and then say hello to everybody and then start a timer, turn off cameras, and then come back at the end and say, what's up? How'd it go? Okay, cool. So let's dive in. We will start with Dina and see if maybe Tim gets here. I don't know if it's possible to ping him, but he might be on the
I'll ping
time
him.
change issue.
Yeah.
I'd hate for him to miss just because he was unaware. Hi, Dina. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Hi. It's just a check-in. I don't really have anything earth-shattering to discuss today, but yeah, I just feel the Banyan Hill thing's going well. I finished my first promo and now it's with legal. Made some changes and they kind of threw me a curveball with some of it was kind of a tough thing to explain, but I got through that, and hopefully the next step will be the graphic design people, and then that'll launch. And then I'm starting on my second one already.
Wow.
So that's good. And I like all the people I work with have been really nice so far. So it's good.
That is great.
And I feel like I'm learning a lot and, learning how to trade options and all that stuff.
Yeah. So thinking back, like what's been kind of, I don't know, maybe the most surprising thing about it compared to how you were thinking about it when you started?
It's funny because I had to do a bunch of changes for legal to this promo, and I did them like pretty quickly and sent them out. And my boss, who looked it over, was like, you did an amazing job of incorporating the changes legal wanted and not stopping the flow of the copy. And that's really hard to do. And for me, like that's, I guess from my old job, I was constantly having to dance around numbers or like explain things to filmmakers or explain media performance to people or whatever. And so that to me was like the easy part. And some of the other things that are like hard for other people, I mean, easy for other people are hard for me. So it was just kind of it was kind of a realization that it's like a lot of the skills that I had in my old job about looking at advertising performance and metrics and KPIs and numbers and things like that and explaining it to people who don't live it every day.
Right.
That skill actually has served me well so far in this job. So, and it was surprising because I didn't even think about it, you know?
Yeah. God, I love that. Those are some of my favorite revelations
Yeah.
because we talk about this a lot, but then it comes up in ways you don't even expect.
Yeah. So that's all good. I think the uncertainty part for me is that, so I have the Banyan Hill thing and that's at least 20 hours a week. I mean, I probably should be doing more because I'm learning a bunch of new stuff that I don't know anything about. But I try to do at least 20 hours a week. And then I have 2 other projects I'm working on. They don't really like pay me right now, but there's potential for money. And that's the hard part. Cause then it's like, I don't know how much I should prospect with the other half of my time because I don't want to be like overloaded and start doing a bad job on everything that I'm supposed to be doing. But then at the same time, there's a lot of starts and stops on these other 2 projects. And there's the potential for money. They're not even copywriting really. One of them is, they're both marketing, but one of them is, one of them is copywriting. Some of my friends that I've worked with for like 20 years are starting a food website this summer. And so we're going to like different restaurants and filming behind the scenes, like local chefs that never get any attention that have made like this great recipe for 30 years. And so it's called publicmarket.com. So I'm writing a lot of blog articles for them, but there's no like hard and fast deadlines. I mean, we're supposed to launch in the summer, but I'm like kind of doing that. And then they gave me a percentage of the company because they can't afford to pay me now. So, you know, and who knows, you know, with these things, how it's going to work out, but you know, at least it's something. And so I want to do a good job, obviously, because I don't want to do anything that's bad with my name on it. But I also, you know, when you don't get them, when you don't know if you're ever going to see any money, you kind of are like, I don't know, you know, so I'm constantly struggling with that. And then the other thing is, I've been a volunteer for like 5 years on this thing called the Infinity Festival, and it's in Hollywood. And it's all about how you're telling stories using technology. So it's all about, you know, movie making with technology or even just short form videos with technology. We have sponsors like AI sponsors like NVIDIA. We have Hewlett Packard. We have all these big sponsors. And for 5 years, I volunteered. I was the head of the marketing committee for that. And it was good when I worked at Paramount because they wanted like studio representation and they wanted all that. But now that I'm on my own, you know, I have to like weigh how much do I want to spend volunteering for these people, which I love them, but I'm taking time away from when I should be earning money, right? So I was I had a conversation, or I was gonna have a conversation the other night with the 2 founders, and I was all about to like, I had my whole speech prepared about I love you guys, but I don't know how much I could do this anymore. And before I could even open my mouth, he's like, we have money now, we're going to pay you. And I was like, oh, and that kind of like disarmed me because I was like, oh, and he's like, well, we'll see how we do this year, but we're definitely going to pay you a consulting fee. And then if we get more VC money, then we'll talk about it. And I don't want to work full time for them. But it's kind of nice to stay. I wrote like a media trends paper and I did a webinar the other day and explained the trends and stuff. So it's kind of nice to keep that going. And a lot of it, I think it could probably help me with my financial copywriting somehow, just like the macro trends and stuff or the storytelling. So anyway, so I have cool stuff going on, but again, I don't know where it's going. I don't know how long it's going to take. I can't live on the Banyan Hill salary only this year. I mean, like I have other sources of income, but I'm just looking for the long term. But then again, it may not even be a problem because if I start, you know, making royalties at Banyan Hill or doing well there or whatever, then it might be all fine. So it's just really more that I just have to keep going, you know, but it's like, it's balancing the non-paid stuff. And then am I sacrificing, you know, taking on paying jobs for this? So there you go.
No, that's good. That's a great update. And it's all very cool. And it's a good problem to have, but it's still one that needs to be solved, right?
Yeah.
And this is really where that, you know, the profit pie is helpful because you can categorize everything. And so like, it's interesting because the tech storytelling stuff's completely volunteer. So you could I would put that in motive because it's rewarding, but it's also
I've
very
only made
relevant.
$10,000 in 5 years off of it. So it's not like I'm, this year might be more, but I'm saying
Right.
it's pretty much volunteer,
Yeah,
with the
it's-
potential to be bigger, but who knows, so.
Yeah, but even checking in on a thing like that is going, okay, like I'm curious, like, how did you feel after he surprised you and said, "Oh, we're actually going to have money for you"? Were you like, "Oh, this is fantastic. That was the only thing holding me back," or were you still a little like, but it's,
That was the main thing that was holding me back.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the luxury of like volunteering and knowing I had a big income coming in, you know what I mean? So that was
Right.
the main thing, but I don't want to do it full time, and really it's every November. So you kind of really get busy like in the summer with that,
Sure.
and then for a few months. So it's kind of seasonal. But I think it has a lot of potential. I mean, if you look at like South by Southwest, that started out like how many years ago as like a small music festival, and it took years to get it to where it is today,
Right.
And I feel like this kind of has that potential. It's got a lot of big sponsors, big money behind it. A lot of people want to see that area revitalized because it's gotten pretty bad lately over there in Hollywood.
Where is it?
It's in Hollywood, California.
Oh, just a bad part of Hollywood.
Yeah, the area's gotten really bad. And there's a lot of crime and stuff there. So, so anyway, I think a lot of people that want this to succeed. So I think it has a lot of wind in its sails, even though it isn't making tons of money yet.
Let me ask you this. Is there anything on paper that says, Dina's a founder there's nothing official?
No. I
Okay.
think this year would be the year that I would make something official with them, because if they're going to get like money and be able to hire some employees, and I would be a part-time or a consultant or whatever, then that's when I would make my deal with them.
Yeah, I think that's smart. And what it's funny, it reminds me of way back when this is kind of my transition out of stand-up comedy, but I was literally homeless. I was living, I was between states. I was between lives, Dina. And I was living in my friend Dan's RV in his driveway, and they were breeding mountain dogs. And they had all these dogs in the house. And so if I had to relieve myself in the middle of the night in the winter in Chicago, I couldn't even go in the house because I would wake up all these dogs and they'd start yapping. So I had to, pee in the driveway at 2 a.m. in the winter of Chicago.
Wow.
And never forget that time in my life. Otherwise, the RV was lovely. Just had no plumbing.
I hope you use that in one of your stories.
Yeah. It was, that was definitely, I'm not one of these people who likes to, stretch the idea that I was homeless, but there was nowhere for people to send me mail. Right. So I think that counts. But I wasn't destitute. I had this family of friends really helping me. The point is, what we were doing, and part of the reason I was there is he had this idea to put on the Chicago Comedy Festival. And we sat there in his tiny little office, and I think I learned more about what I wanted to do, how to, he was building like what seemed like one of the first websites. It was like back when you still had to ask people like, do you have an email address? Like, can I contact you there? And so it's amazing what we were able to pull off that first year. We had the industry and we had the talent, and once you have one and the other, that they all start coming, right? So it was pretty epic. The point is, after we did it the 2 years, and then after that, I said to him, Dan, like, is there, do you see any potential for me ever getting paid, for this work? Or he's like, I can't give you what I don't have. And so, like, obviously that's the goal. I'm like, so do you have like any kind of business plan? Or, and he just didn't. And so I remember saying to him, look, dude, all I would want is for you to put something in writing that says, if and when this festival is profitable, I get some percentage of it. Cause I was sitting there next to you smelling your coffee breath for 6 months while we built this thing, and I've worked really hard on it. Point is, it was interesting because now I always say, when we talk about doing free work, it's like, you can do it. You just have to structure it in a way that they're clear, like your time is not free. And you know,
Yeah.
and I think I probably learned it from that, because ultimately I said, damn, well, I'm out. Like, if you can't even just in theory give me something, I feel disrespected and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, all that to say, this is a perfect time. And even if the money is not enough to justify your time, I would say to them, hey, let's just formalize like what my part in this is, since I've been working on it so long with you. And all
Yeah,
that.
I really need to do that. And I've been putting it off, but I think this is the year to do it. You're right.
Yeah, because then for you, you'll be able to judge it differently. I think, like in your world of things that, you know, look, I have little doubt that the copywriting stuff, I mean, definitely over the next year is going to become probably the thing that, you know, easily wins your time and attention if you're enjoying it.
And that's what I want, you know, that's what I would prefer.
Yeah.
So,
But that doesn't mean that you should throw away all the time and energy you put into other things. I love that your attitude is there's value in them, no matter what. And there is in both of these things. But, you know, what if like, you know, one of these sponsors came in and said, you know what, we're just going to buy this festival from you. And you were like, damn, you know, it was like, they probably would have, you know, whatever percentage or whatever.
yeah,
Anyway,
no, you're right.
Just a thought, just to think it through, just to be in the habit of anything that's even volunteer with your level of expertise it's an arranged free. It's never actually, unless it's like a 1 week thing and you're like helping out. It's like a charitable thing, you know what I mean?
And it's hard too, because these people have become kind of like friends of mine, you know?
Sure, yeah.
And so that's why I think one of the reasons why I stayed so long, obviously, because if I didn't like the people, I'd be like, what the hell am I doing here working for free? And I can't stand these people. But that's not it, you know?
Right.
So it does make it harder, but I have to get more buttoned up this year about these things, because I noticed too, when people knew that I left Paramount, like everybody started calling me, asking me for, you know, what do you think about this? Or, hey, can you talk to my friend? Or how about an hour here? How about an hour there? And it's like, yeah, okay. And then I'm like, oh my God, this is like taking up half my day. You know what I mean? And I think people think you're just sitting around doing nothing.
Hey, you're out of work. Can you help me grow my
Yeah,
business?
like, can you work for free so that you could be even more poor? Yeah, so, okay.
Right. Yeah, no, good point. So cool. But so yeah, that's it. Okay, well, that's great, Dina. Like I'm thrilled, and I want to keep hearing these updates, because just that little thing today. By the way, I don't know if you're writing. Do you have an outlet where you're sort of showing your work?
Well, I was doing the AC challenge which helped a lot. But I always struggled with what to write about, because I'm in this weird transition phase, you know? And so like, I know, and I talked to Rachel about this too, but it's like, so I wrote some about like advertising tips for small businesses or entrepreneurs and things like that. I could do that all day long. But then I wrote some about some time management stuff that I found interesting. So I don't feel qualified yet to start talking about financial copywriting. You know, I feel like I'm just learning, so I would feel kind of like a fraud doing it. But maybe there's some kind of way, like even what I talked about, when people make job transitions, finding the skills that they used in their old job and their new job or something.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I love that topic. It just simply how it is what you shared here is like, gosh, I never would have thought that the thing I was forced to do in my old job to help everybody understand what the heck I was talking about would become, because that is a really hard thing to do, is, you know, adhere to legal and keep, that's the ultimate financial copywriting struggle, really.
Yeah.
And so if you were going to be a little audacious about it, be like, how I overcame the number one challenge to any financial copywriter without even knowing I had the skill, or something like that, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
And you don't have to go that bold with it, but whatever feels comfortable to you. But I would definitely write about it, because and especially, you know, it's cool is, you know, we're kicking off our financial copywriting course here.
Can you tell me more about that? Or are you at liberty to now?
Okay. Yeah. So we got all the details worked out. Joshua Lee Henry's going to lead it. He's working with Banyan, and what's so cool about it is, so Aaron and the team over there are contributing mostly in support. We did sign an exclusive recruiting contract with them for 6 months. And so the way it'll work is we have a club that we're about to launch that's just financial copywriting. So it'll be great in there, Dina, because you can instantly kind of be an authority talking about this stuff. It's like, hey, I just started this, and so I'm learning too, but here's been my experience, because there's going to be a bunch of people who don't know anything about it who are eager to learn. So you've got that 10% more knowledge expertise factor right there, you know?
Okay.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to have a training every month that Joshua will lead. And then when people feel ready to apply or, you know, start their, see, all right, am I ready to actually work? They will apply to Banyan. I think there's a writing, probably very similar to what they did with you and Josh. And then Joshua Lee Henry will personally take the application, look at the copy, and give them feedback, whether it's, hey, I think you're ready for a test project, or whether it's, hey, you're not quite ready for a test project. Here's some things I would focus on. And that might be trainings within Copy Chief, or it might be some things they've created on the Banyan side. But the most important thing to me is that we now have a system where we can send people where they're going to get nurtured after they apply. That was the major problem. I used to recruit for 5 different companies. They all paid me great money, but really none of them were doing a very good job of nurturing the leads we were sending them. And so everybody was hitting this dead end, and it was sad because they weren't having the experience you're having and going, oh my God, I'm being welcomed into this new world and coached and guided and supported. And now it's like life-changing if it works, right? But if all they do is hit a wall and they never hear back after they apply, you just assume it sucked and you go somewhere else. And
Right.
So
Right.
that was thanks to Aaron and Banyan, we fixed that, and they've agreed to make sure. And so, and then from there, if they're full up on copywriters, they will hand them off to, say, Terry Weiss at Money Map, or some friends within the industry say, hey, we don't have room for more writers, and I think this might be a good fit for you. You should check them out.
Cool.
So it's going to be really cool to be ongoing for like 6 months, and then we'll take that and probably put it into like a standalone course, but we'll always have the club open and live. So again, it'll be really cool for people who are newer into it to be in there showing people the way.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Great stuff. And Josh as well. Are we catching up with Josh? Oh,
Yeah.
Cool. Let's do it, Josh. How are you, buddy?
Good. I'm good. I went ice skating yesterday for like the third
for
time.
you. Wow.
Third time in my life.
You're
I did not
brave. Did you wear a
fall.
helmet?
I should have. No,
I would have worn a helmet, man.
I was cautious.
I've seen
enough.
people, my kids go roller skating sometimes, and inevitably there's the parent who just does the legs go out, and
Yeah. Yeah, there were a couple of those. Yeah, but it's good. We've been good. Spring's coming. I can, bed's about to be pollen season. So,
Oh yeah, we just got through that here. Everybody's not sure if they have a cold or allergies. It's been brutal for like 2
or
weeks.
COVID, right? Now, we have to have
Or
that.
COVID,
Or COVID.
exactly.
Maybe COVID.
Are we still testing for that? Who knows what's going
Yeah.
on?
But I've been good. I just posted in my accelerator journal. Thanks to Rachel reminding me. I got in like last time we talked, it was like, don't worry about prospecting and just, sort of dive deep into the Banyan stuff.
Right.
And I sort of did that, but I also like went off on this tangent with like, kind of like Dina said, you're learning all this stuff about finances, and like with her, it's options, and some of that with my stuff too. And it's like, well, maybe I just need to learn everything I can about trading, and I'll just be a day trader for a little while and see how that goes. And so I was like, no, and then I realized like this is not what I should be doing. So I backed off of that. But I have like 2 things that I'm kind of, one thing I think I need to work on is systematizing a little bit more my education plan with Banyan, because I know I'm learning a lot, but at the same time, I haven't been formally like documenting it as well as I should.
Yeah.
And I was also thinking about I know when Anna started with Tier 11, that Zach had like a really, it was like a, coach, like, I want you doing these exercises. It was that sort of, mentor relationship.
Okay, right.
Where this is more like, you learn through critiques, and then we look at copy every week. We like look at a promo. But I feel like I need to maybe like actually give myself assignments, like, reading this book and taking these kind of notes. So I need to be more formal about it.
What about, and this is maybe something we can do in the club, is create kind of a accountability system just within there too, like for people, because this is an interesting thing that, and there's so much you could study. Like Rachel, did Bronco go through this? Because I know they have their weekly calls that are just kind of like water cooler. Or was he just working to keep up with all they're throwing at him?
Yeah, so that was a unique situation. So the reason that Bronco joined Legacy was because Blair Morris, who used to be the copy chief there, had like a copy training program that he was going to put these guys through boot camp, and that's why he chose Legacy. So they went through that, and he's no longer the copy chief there. And the new copy chief, I think it's a little bit less formal, but what Legacy does is if you're a junior writer, you can't actually write your own promos without a senior writer mentoring you. So they have kind of like a buddy system for all their junior copywriters, where the mentor gets like 1% of your royalties, but they coach you through writing your promo. And so that's how they do it there. But what he and his buddies did, who all signed up, is they wanted more coaching and accountability and things like that. So they actually, the junior writers, created their own little mastermind, and they meet once a week to review the winning promos. So they whatever promos most successful at the time, or even outside of the company, they take it and they read through it and they break it down and break down the principles of it. And that way they're kind of brainstorming together and like breaking down copy together to see what works.
Yeah, that's cool. We do something like that every week we do a go over promo and talk about what's working. And they've got like the senior people, or they choose one and they sort of lead the discussion, but it's kind of open for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's helpful for sure.
Yeah. And most of what I'm doing right now is like lifts and, advertorial. Actually, I haven't done any advertorials, but that's coming down the line too. But lifts, and then some like short space ads, Facebook ads, that kind of thing. And so I think they're going well. I'm getting good feedback on it. And we have a monthly meeting with the chief where we just, it's sort of directed by us, like, here's what I'm thinking about, or what I'd like to know more about, or that kind of thing. I met with him. It was Nicholas Brack. I don't know if you know that name, but
I don't know Nicholas. No, but that sounds familiar.
He's been with Aaron a long time. I think he started with him when he was at Newsmax, and then he came over to Banyan eventually.
Yep.
Yeah. But so he gave me some reading suggestions. I've been looking at those, and that's been a lot of it.
Cool. Yeah. And I think you're right you're on the right path, that if you feel like you need more training or resources in a specific area, just ask. I think a lot of people forget to ask, like, hey, do you have any training or any sort of materials I could look at to really beef up my skills and whatever,
Yeah.
I think that they'd be glad to give that to you. Sometimes they just forget because it's such second nature to them now.
Yeah.
Also, Josh, were you on Tim Deering's Big Idea training?
I caught the replay this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really good.
That was pretty good, right? And I think that workshop's still going to what, Thursday or Friday, Rachel?
Oh, the challenge.
Yeah, the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's obviously relevant. It might just be fun to. I do the same thing sometimes. I'm like, I want to learn this, and I get excited in my head. I'm gonna carve out 30 minutes every morning, and you just like reality sets in. It's like, but if I sign up for a thing, or if I have any kind of accountability, like, if I don't have a trainer, I'm not working out consistently, and I don't know, I'm not doing anything with purpose,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just figure out where you'd want to focus, and let's hook you up with somebody to help you do that,
Yeah, that's why I did the Colby yesterday, and part.
How was that?
It was good. It was a 7-3-6-3.
Interesting.
I actually have it here under my background. 7 fact finder, 3 follow through, 6 quick start, 3 implementer.
Yeah, it was fascinating to me that you're such a high quick start because you're so chill. And I feel like you're very calculated. I was like, what do you mean 6 quick start?
Yeah, I was surprised by that I got such a high score in follow through, which was a 3. I was like, what do you, I don't know where I got those points, but yeah, I think it sort of the idea, that's one thing I struggle with is like, it's sort of like, do these things, don't do these things. And it's like, don't worry about systematizing your stuff. And I'm like, I don't know though, because I feel like maybe I need to systematize my stuff. And I need
Yeah.
to, um,
I think so. I mean, again, I always talk about like when I started blogging, it was just to learn what I needed to learn. You know, it's just sort of like trying to get things down in front of me and think through force myself to think through them.
mhm.
So whether it's drawing mind maps or whatever it looks like to systematize it, then I think it probably is something you should do for yourself. Whether you share it or not is irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the other, there's that sort of, it did help since we talked last to think about Banyan as like, dev time, even though it is a good chunk of the revenue, it's really sort of exploring this new, this new avenue.
Right.
I've got part of the other like, trading and all that stuff is I know that there's this itch for like, I want to be doing something that's like, I don't feel like I don't want to take on more copy clients. I don't want to do more copywriting necessarily, but like I keep feeling this like I want to do this something other. I don't know if it's because like I've had a side hustle for so long. I feel like I'm missing something there, but it's like I feel like I want to do something. Like I work with the e-commerce business school. We're teaching people Amazon, fulfillment by Amazon, have your own Amazon store. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll make my own Amazon store. And but then I realized
Yeah.
like that doesn't fit in my ultimate goals that much. I don't know if I've been writing BizOp and all that stuff too much. So I'm like, oh, I need to get that passive income train going. And
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a difference between, I don't know. I'm never against experimenting with anything, but unless it's overwhelming you with no, again, if the follow through is an issue, it can be hard. You might fall into that pattern of creating something to keep yourself busy, but it never producing or not seeing it through to the actual test to learn the bigger lesson about whether or not it works for you or something you want to keep. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think mostly what I need to do is just focus on what I'm doing. And then if I do, like I could add that down the line if that's something, that's always there.
yeah. Why is the day trading so bad? Like what was the joke there, Rachel? Just because it can become, you can lose money. It's just like
It's like
gambling essentially.
you literally like watch the stock market and like trade like every hour. Like it's like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Oh yeah, that's intense.
Yeah. And it's like the kind of, there's some trading where it's like, I just put this on, I'll look at it in a month. And then there's other where it's like, I could do it. And it's like, I know things could happen, but it's just back there in the back of your mind. And so that's not good for like writing
No,
and having
that's
that back there.
distracting.
Yeah.
More pings bad.
Yeah.
I need too many pings. Yeah, but so that's good that you're not overwhelmed. For a lot of time, for a while there, you were working just about every hour you could, right? It's not that you're not doing as much now, but it sounds like you're not as stressed at least.
Yeah, it feels better. I feel like I could be doing more with Banyan, but some of it has just been like, I've been getting the work as they give it to me, and the process is a little bit slower than I'm used to. Like, all the different levels it's got to go through. So there's more downtime waiting for that. Yeah, I had Joey from Miracy. She asked like last week, she wanted me to work on a new project, and I feel like I maybe could have made it work, but I actually did the right thing, I think, in saying no.
Nice.
So that was kind of nice. Yeah.
I bet that felt good.
Yeah,
Best
it felt good. And also, like I was letting somebody down. But.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whenever you're getting an extra moment with your kids or whatever you did, hopefully it occurred to you like, yeah, I might not be doing this right now.
No, it's just day trading. So
I would have missed this blip.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
what?
No, it's I think I'm in good shape.
Good. Perfect timing. Good, man. I'm thrilled about it. And again, it'll be fun. We could definitely take up some of your time when we launch this club, because like Dina, it'll be really cool to have you in there. You know, telling people what's up. So cool. All right. Well, thanks, Josh. Appreciate the check-in, and reach out if you need anything. So we don't have
Tim, Valentina's still, unfortunately, had to go back to the hospital, so she's gonna book in next week, but checking in
Okay.
with her. But Porrick or Heather or Jody, you guys want to do a check-in? Lisa?
Yeah, I think I just sent Jody a message looking, asking what's up anyway. So it's up to you, Jody, if you want to pop on, say hello.
There I am.
Hey,
Hey,
how you doing?
good. I don't have a lot going on. I just popped in to see what everybody else was doing.
Cool. I was had dinner with Kim last week. She was singing your praises. Very impressed with everything you've been doing.
Good, because with all those papers I get back filled with red, I don't know.
Hard to see the pride in there. I know.
Right.
She's just earning her money. Red ink.
Yeah. Right. Well, I just turned in that most recent package to Green Valley yesterday, and like I said, I turned down the Dr. Sears offer. Yeah, contract wasn't very friendly for writers, and
Really?
I guess Kim heard a lot of bad things while she was at Copy Accelerator, so decided it wasn't the way to go.
About
That leaves
Dr.
me sitting
Sears?
here on vacation. Oh, go ahead.
About Dr. Sears?
About just working for the company.
Yeah.
So if you run into anybody who wanted to write for them, send them my way so I can just tell them what I know.
Yeah, I'll do that. Can I ask
Um,
what was unfriendly about the contract?
I mean, it was a lot of things. It was everything from, we own everything, and at so many days we make all the money and you don't get any royalties, and you have to attend these meetings every week, which I understand attending the meetings. I need to be copy chief, but like you're saying in the contract, you will be at every one of them, or you're kind of violating the contract. And there were a lot of things just on the financial side that I wouldn't have understood, but Kim did when she looked over it.
Yeah, good.
So, and I mean, it's just the schedule of being paid. You do all the work, and then sometimes down the line you get paid, instead of you pay me so I can block this off in my schedule and I can write it. It's very friendly for the company, not so friendly for the writers.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I don't know that everybody gets that. I'm a brand, I'm the first time ever working with them. Somebody like him might get a better deal. But
I've heard of people having trouble with them in the past. Very similar to some of Newmarket Health's stuff, how they used to be, Kevin.
Yeah.
But less of a team to push it forward even.
Interesting. Yeah. No, that's good feedback. I appreciate hearing this, because the more I know, the better. And I don't really have any experience with them.
Yeah. So that leaves me with I'm on vacation, and I was going to write a supplement package, and now I've got nothing going on, which kind of put me in a little bit of a blah here, because, I was expecting all this big check to come in. And
yeah. All these type A's.
Whatever, it all figured out.
I can't just relax.
I can't just sit here. I've got a few YouTube ads to write and some emails to write, but
Get a massage.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I have time for that. I started taking all my authority content and putting it on YouTube and doing stuff like that. I haven't really focused on building myself as a brand, so I guess that's what I'm going to focus on for the next couple of weeks in my free time when I'm not working for my retainer client.
I love it. Yes.
Awesome.
That's kind of where I'm at.
All right. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for the check-in, and let us know how it goes, and keep us educated about what you're finding.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
Cool. Parek, you want to check
Heather's
in?
just got to jump at 3. So Park, if you're okay to stick around for a sec, then we'll do Heather first.
Hey, Heather. Yeah.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How's it going?
Going pretty good. Working on my money skills samples for advertorial, and canvassing all of my contacts and letting them know that I'm open for business if they know anybody. I met with a woman from one of the regional chamber of commerce. She's in the marketing field, just exchanging notes, getting to know each other. So I have a couple meet and greets. We're in 3 different chambers. So have some meet and greets coming up just to get to know the business owners locally.
Very good.
Waiting for that first opportunity. I'm ready.
Yes. And yeah, updating your portfolio with good samples in the meantime, right? So what kind of pace are you writing different kinds of editorial? Like, what are you doing for practice?
2 story ones, but I'm trying to find an opportunity to do listicle. I want to have one of each, but with the authority content challenge, kind of under pressure just to write, just keep writing. So I have 2 story ones. I'm in the editing phase of the second, but I do want to have one of each just to break the seal on doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And then you might just find you love one the most. And then it's funny how that kind of like transfers into energy that people respond to, right? So puts it on your radar. Rachel, any other tips about how to kind of practice and develop those muscles?
I would say just start clicking around the content networks and see what people are putting out there.
Yeah.
So you know how to do that, right? Like when you go to, no, okay. So here, I can show you real quick if you want. Let's see.
Let's
Let's
get a
see what
re-
we can
A
find.
real-time preview.
Yeah.
On the job.
So it depends on what niche you want. But for example, if I go somewhere like, you could do a Daily Mail, BuzzFeed, CNN.com, weather.com, even Wired, all that good stuff. If I just start like clicking around in here, let's say I go to science. That's a dangerous place to be right now. But if I just start clicking on like articles, it's so slow because it's so much pop-ups. But you can see there's an advertisement loading here. But if we scroll down, you'll start seeing sponsored
Sponsored.
content.
Yeah.
You can see this is an advertisement. Sometimes you got to go through a couple of articles to find them first, but let's see here. So like all these are sponsored links, right? So this looks like it's from Taboola, which is a content network. So Taboola is an Outbrain and AdBlade. Those are content networks where people pay to have their articles placed on websites like Daily Mail. So for example, this one's why American dog owners are ditching kibble for this, right? So it's kind of like an article. This one's pretty, oh my gosh, I don't know how these websites operate. It's so annoying. This one's very direct, and the Farmer's Dog, they're always kind of direct with their editorials. But if you click around, you'll see like more subtle ones, you'll see more direct ones. But this looks like content, but it's positioned like an article, and you're going to see those all over the place. So here's more sponsored links. So this one's about Rebel Wilson doing something, and if we click on it, if it doesn't take forever to load. This is sponsored content by somebody. This site is so bad. It's like worse with Zoom.
Yeah, man, this is brutal. Like,
My God.
how does anybody do anything here?
I don't know, but I mean, obviously it works.
God.
But these kind of articles, if you just start scrolling through, you're going to find those sponsored content blocks. It's going to probably work a lot better for you because you're not going to be trying to screen share through Zoom. But anytime you see like this Taboola feed, Taboola sponsored links, it'll say Outbrain or AdBlade. Those are all advertorials. So you can kind of click through and see what people are writing about. Like this would be a good one. Got student loans? We've got good news for you. So it's going to be an article probably about some sort of financial or a personal finance service. This one obviously is for people who want to become a personal trainer, things like that, but they're positioned as articles. So it's going to give you some good examples of angles that you could have, types of articles, whether it's like a listicle or a story-based or a news style content. But try something like CNN.com or even like The Guardian or even BBC. They're all going to have these sponsored content blocks, and that's where you're going to find most of the advertorials on those sites.
Awesome. Thank you.
It'll work a lot better when you're not sharing on Zoom, but man, I don't know how they operate. Who reads those websites when
Who could sit there and you have to fight to figure out, is this article over? Oh wait, there's
There's
more
more.
under these
Crazy.
6 things that just popped up, you know.
Stress me out.
And
just
now
being
you're
on
gonna learn more about Rebel Wilson than you ever wanted to, Rachel, in your Google feed.
Oh man, it used to be so much work when I used to write for like shady affiliate sites and stuff. Thank
Oh,
God
man.
that cookie tracking was not so sophisticated back then.
Yeah.
But my social feeds were just like a cesspool.
Like I can't open my phone in front of anybody.
Nope. Nope.
Oh, good.
Does that help, Heather? I know it was a bit
Does,
chaotic in there.
because that'll be good for me just to see how other people are doing it.
Yeah.
I get stuck in my head with what product, how do I want to do it? What are other people saying? And I could
Yeah.
just churn and churn and churn.
Yep.
for days.
Yeah, and I think what seems fun about that to me is you can pick stuff you like to write about. It's like you get paid to like write celebrity gossip, slanted stuff. It's, you know what I mean, more colorful than a lot of things we could have to write about. So
Yeah, I'll give you an example. So I gave this example on Rich Sheffrin's training the other day. I can't believe that this is all over the internet. I know, but one of my biggest editorial wins was in a skin lightening product, which was specifically used for bleaching your anus to make your anus skin more light looking. And we wrote this article about how Kim Kardashian, who's got this giant butt, right? She's known as the butt lady, would use this product to basically make her self more attractive down there. And it was like a celebrity gossip piece about how Kim Kardashian bleaches her butt. And so it was very successful, but that kind of stuff is like, it's ridiculous to write. I couldn't stop laughing the entire time I wrote it, and it just killed. It was like they increased their conversions like 300% over just sending people to sales page. It was crazy.
Well, if Kim's doing it, then it must be a good thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Talk about keeping up with the Kardashians.
She's the butt master.
I don't know. Yeah, that's when you really know the paparazzi's on you, huh? When you get it.
Get a little too close.
Oh my God.
So there you go.
That is funny.
Solid ROI on this call today.
Perfect.
All right, Heather, good stuff. So yeah, keep writing those, and again, like share them. Maybe give yourself that accountability to share with the group and teach everybody about the different editorials you're finding and what you find most interesting to write. Like, people want to know what you're learning, and it's helpful to current and future members. So share it all. Thanks, Heather.
Thank
All
you.
right, good checking. We're going to talk to Parek.
Hey, Kev. Hey, guys.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
Good, man. Excited to see you. And what are we? Did you think about hot seat topics while you're here in town? Anything you want to dive into?
I haven't thought too deeply about it yet, but I'll definitely come up with something. There are kind of, I guess some areas of focus for me at the moment. One is definitely just keeping consistency in my pipeline, and just kind of keeping consistency with outreach and whatnot. Yeah, like I had been doing better with keeping consistent about kind of making outreach kind of just something I do on a daily basis. A few weeks back, I got kind of with an old client, I had two kind of larger campaigns come in back to back, and kind of at the time I was kind of feeling like I wanted to start writing a bit more just to kind of keep upgrading my chops and whatnot. So I kind of just dove headfirst into that for a couple of weeks without kind of coming up for air. Still doing a little bits of networking and programs I'm doing and reading. So definitely like client delivery, yes, and training, yes, but just in terms of the outreach, that is something I just feel I'm leaving slip a bit, particularly in terms of doing it in a consistent way. And the other thing that I think I have going on with it a little bit is just maybe overthinking it a bit too much. I kind of have, I guess, an idea in terms of the outreach, which I think is a correct one, that you want to kind of make what you're doing as personal as possible for the person that you're applying to, and kind of put effort into it. But I feel like sometimes that can turn into like 4 hours for me, when there's something else that I need to be doing, and I just get kind of carried away. So I think that's the biggest kind of area for me right now, is just getting some consistency around that, getting on calls, and just making sure that bit is taken care of consistently, rather than I guess being up and down with it.
Right. No, it's good. Let me ask you, have you had a client yet? Have you worked with clients successfully?
Oh yeah, I've had kind of several clients. One kind of more on an ongoing basis. That's Ross, who, as you know, so I've been doing some work with Ross for, I'd say probably 9 months now, kind of on an ongoing basis for some of his clients and for his own.
What are you writing for him?
There was one kind of ongoing project, has been ongoing for one of his clients. That's it's like, I guess, the medical marijuana license type niche. So that's been kind of ongoing work since last August, in terms of email campaigns, autoresponders, broadcasts, stuff like that. And I've also kind of more recently been doing some work with him for his own business. Again, emails, kind of campaigns, and again, that's kind of ongoing stuff. And just some other kind of in between stuff then, like less consistent, but the work, it's been awesome working with and learning from Ross, but I would like to kind of plug the gaps of that, because the consistency of it can sometimes be up and down depending on what he's got going on and whatnot. So I'd like to just kind of be a bit more proactive myself about making sure that I'm doing what I need to do to make sure I have, that calendar full and whatnot.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, you don't want to get too comfortable. And so ideally it'd be like an email retainer client, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like email is my money skill. It's mainly kind of email that I've been focused on. Not that I'm not open to kind of doing Facebook ads and stuff like that, but I've just been trying to go deep on email. That's kind of what I'm looking to kind of offer, and I would like to develop it more in that I would actually manage lists. That's what I want to kind of turn my offer into, in terms of I'd actually manage the ESP, look at the data, publish the emails and write the emails. But yeah, it's primarily email stuff I'm applying for at the moment as well.
Have you applied to Miracy?
No.
Let's do that. I don't know, Josh, do you get the sense they're hiring and still doing test projects in that, or do you feel like?
I think they'll always look at something.
Yeah.
You just had to turn down a project from them, right?
Yeah, and they've been expanding their like agency side of things. So while they may have people covering the sort of regular interior Danny stuff, they're doing a lot of like small projects for their students or other people who need like funnels and that kind of stuff. So
thank you. Yeah, so I think Power, you should totally apply to them. And because here's the thing, April's the one who's going to see your application. April Dykeman, who's a great friend of the community. I've been working with April for, I don't know, 5 years now. And so she's also good friends with Ross. So specifically, make sure you say, hey, I'm a part of Accelerator with Kevin and Rachel, and I've been working with Ross for writing both for his company and for some of his clients. And Kevin mentioned I should reach out and apply and see if you guys are working with new copywriters right now, and then just put your best samples in there. And that way, she'll look at it, give you feedback. She's another one who I know she'll respond. She will give you feedback. And if she sees like you're close, but not quite ready, she'll make some suggestions on what you could be doing. So that'll be a really good gauge. And they've got more work than they can fill, I think. So I don't know how sporadic it is, but it seems like, and Josh can tell you, because he still works with them sometime and was working with them pretty much full time, right? Once you're in there, I know they want to basically hire everybody full time. That can be a tricky proposition financially, but even before that, Josh, you can stay pretty busy with them, right?
Yeah, the way they often do it is to do a little bit more part-time or even sort of freelance contractor. They have like sort of the regular writers, either who are part-time or full-time, kind of in-house taking things, but then they also have what they call like overflow. And so that can be a little bit more inconsistent, but usually like if you're doing part-time, it's, they'll have you for however many hours per week, and they usually keep that pretty consistent. And then they were keeping the overflow writers fairly consistent for a while. I don't know if that's changed in the last few months, but it's pretty consistent. Yeah.
Great.
They're going into like late spring is their big launch season. Summer's going to slow down a lot, and then it'll pick back up again in the fall. So that's something you might consider too.
So it'd be good to get in now.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And let me know how that goes. So make sure you did it before you get on the plane so we can chat about it when you're here in town. Awesome. Cool. Anything else you want to talk about?
I think that is kind of the main thing. I just maybe one other thing I've just been kind of thinking about this week is, again, just because I've been, really trying to do the basics. Like I realized that I haven't got around to starting a website yet. And the other thing I haven't done yet is gotten a domain email address, which has been on my to-do list forever. So I guess just quickly, I'd like to know like how important that should be of a priority for me to get up and running in terms of where I should put it on the to-do list right now.
Mm-hmm. You're in phase 3, it sounds like.
Yeah, I guess phase 2 is what I chose, but phase 2, phase 3, probably that area.
Yeah. Yep. So we don't really we consider a good website as a future problem in this phase. You really just want to focus on your portfolio and like you're doing kind of outreach and making connections and really like being bold about the work within your network, like in the accelerator group. Make sure everybody knows like where you're focused on writing, that you're working with Ross, that you're working with different clients. And that's why I can't stress the progress journals enough, because people read more progress journals than they post. I don't know why that is, because I don't know if we're just introverts or we're busy or whatever it is, but like just letting people know with a quick update every week, like what you're up to, people will know, oh, Parik's doing this. Like this is, if I was going to recommend, if somebody was asking for a copywriter with a beautiful Irish brogue, I would know he's my guy. I got to recommend him, whatever you're working on. So just make sure that's happening. And the website is like one of those things where if you don't have time for it, don't worry about it. But, if you have a little extra time before you get too busy with work and you have the ability to, they really make them drag and drop now. You can, I haven't done it, but I know my son did it and he's not incredibly he's not a tech head, you can go to Wix, just get a domain. It's nice to have, your name at yourname.com. It's not critical. Is your Gmail anything wacky right now? Like Yoda fan 79 or anything like that? It's your name, right?
Yeah, it's my name. Yeah. It's just my name at gmail.com.
Okay, perfect. So nothing wrong with that. I still use my original Gmail address for a lot of stuff, along with Kevin at Copy Chief. So I wouldn't stress too, that isn't as important, but it's nice to have a website. Keep it super simple. If you've got some articles, you can put them up there. It's nice to be able to have a link to your portfolio, simple stuff like that. But I wouldn't stress about it. It's not something missing from your world right now that's going to keep you from getting work.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yep. Cool. All right. Yeah, but shenanigans. Okay, cool. All right. Well, great check-in, everybody. Anything else we need to cover, Rachel?
No, that's good. Just, yeah, raise your hand if you're going to be on not literally in the forum, if you're going to plan to be on that co-working call on April 7th. I know we're a little far away. Just so we make sure that everyone actually needs it. Dina, you're kind of raising your hand, but you don't want to lead. Is that what happened?
I have to double check my calendar really quick, but I'm pretty sure I could do it. So I'll
Okay.
let you know. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, I'll check in with you guys next week.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. All right, cool. So see a couple of you guys next week. Otherwise,
Yeah, can't
see you
wait.
back in the forum.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Hit those progress journals. See
Thanks,
you
guys.
soon.
Hey.
Bye-bye.